In today's business world, if you're not moving, you're pretty much falling behind, right? The pressure is on to be agile, to be able to pivot at a moment's notice. But what does that really take? A lot of companies think the answer is simple, just buy more tech. But is that really the solution? Or is it just one piece of a much bigger puzzle? Okay, let's get into it.
The big challenge, as this research from the journal Information and Management points out, is that we are absolutely drowning in information. Businesses are getting hit from all sides with what experts call weak signals. These little hints of trends, confusing data points, and just a whole lot of noise. It's chaotic, and trying to make sense of it all can feel totally overwhelming.
So the typical response is to fight fire with fire, you know? To handle all this digital chaos, you just need more digital tools. The newest AI, the most advanced analytic platform you can find. The thinking is that technology by itself is going to make you agile, but here's the catch. So many organizations go on a tech spending spree only to find out they're not any more agile than when they started. Something's clearly missing from the equation.
And that missing piece is really what this research brings to light. See, the problem isn't just about reacting to the chaos faster. It's about understanding the chaos first. This is a huge shift. A shift from just taking action to actually creating meaning. And there's a name for it, sensemaking.
Now, the really important idea here is that this is a team sport. Sensemaking isn't about one brilliant person having a eureka moment in their office. Nope, it's a social process. It's about your whole team, your department, or even your entire company looking at all that confusing information together and asking, okay, what does this actually mean for us? It's all about building a shared understanding before you leap into action.
And this comparison just lays it out perfectly. The old way, on the left, is just reactive. You sense something, you respond. It's basically a knee-jerk reaction. But the sense-making view on the right adds this incredibly powerful step right in the middle, making meaning. You sense the change, you huddle up and figure out what it means together, and then you come up with a response that's way smarter and more coordinated.
Okay, so if sense-making is the secret sauce, how do you actually build that in your organization? Well, the research breaks it down into 3 core ingredients. You can think of it as a framework for building real, lasting agility.
And here they are, simple, right? The mindset, the rulebook, and the toolbox. Each one plays a really specific and totally vital role in this whole process. First up, we've got the mindset. The researchers call this digital orientation. And this is so much more than just saying, yeah, we like technology. It's about a deep cultural strategic commitment to using digital as a core part of how you do business. It's the belief, from the very top all the way down, that technology is a tool to find new opportunities. It's the why behind everything else.
Next, you need a rulebook. The formal term is information governance. Now I know that sounds a little dry, maybe even boring, but it is absolutely critical. This is the structure that keeps you from drowning in data chaos. It spells out who owns what information, how it moves through the company, how you keep it safe, and how you actually use it to make decisions. It's the how you manage the whole shebang.
And finally, we get to the toolbox. This is the part everybody usually thinks of first, the digital transformation. These are your actual tools, the software, the platforms, your cloud setup, the AI systems. This is the concrete what you use to actually do the work.
So we have our 3 pieces of the puzzle: mindset, rulebook, and toolbox. But this is where the research gets really interesting. It turns out it's not enough to just have all 3. The way they connect, the way they influence each other, that's what unlocks agility. And believe me, the path is not what you'd probably guess.
Okay, here's the first major bombshell from the study. Just having a great digital mindset, a fantastic culture that loves tech and innovation is not enough. Not even close. You can't just think your way to being agile. In fact, when the study looked for a direct statistical connection between a company's mindset and its actual agility, you know what they found? This. 0. A big fat nothing. That's right, a great digital-first culture, all by itself, had no direct measurable effect on agility. It's a shocking finding, but it makes perfect sense once you see how the pieces are really supposed to connect.
And this table reveals the whole secret. The mindset is the starting point, but it never ever works alone. Do you see the pattern here? The mindset always flows through something else. It has to be channeled into shaping your rulebook, or it has to drive how you build your toolbox, or maybe both. The point is, there is no direct path from just having a mindset to being agile.
This is the big aha moment of the whole thing. Your mindset is the engine, but that engine needs a transmission and wheels to actually go anywhere. Your culture and your strategy, your mindset,
are basically useless unless they get translated into concrete policies, the rulebook, or into powerful systems, the toolbox. That's how a belief actually turns into a real capability.
All right, enough theory. Let's make this super practical. What does all this research actually mean for you? For the leaders, for the managers, for anyone out there trying to make their organization more adaptable? Let's build a quick blueprint.
So the good news here is that there isn't just one right way to do this. The research found multiple successful paths, which is a concept called equifinality. And all that fancy word means is that you have options. You can look at your own organization and decide where to start. Is your governance a mess? Then start by channeling your digital mindset into building a better rulebook. Are your tools ancient? Then focus on translating that mindset into a much smarter toolbox.
So here it is, your blueprint. First, you absolutely have to foster that digital mindset. That's the non-negotiable start. Second, build a solid rulebook for how your information works. Third, invest in your digital toolbox. But the most important part is that last point. You have to make sure they're all connected. Your mindset has to actively shape your rules and your tools. They can't just be floating around in separate silos.
And that really leaves us with this final question to chew on. Pretty much every organization has a toolbox, right? You've got software, you've got systems, but take a really honest look at your company. Is there a genuine strategic mindset driving how those tools are picked and how they're used? And is there a clear, effective rulebook for your data so that those tools can actually deliver value? Because as we've just seen, having one without the others, well, it just isn't going to cut it.